Something I've noticed is I've been really conscious about getting my water intake in, because I've realized that if you don't drink enough water and you're regularly dehydrated, and it's so easy to get dehydrated. All you have to do is not drink enough water for like one day, and then you're just playing catch up. And then if you're active, and depending on what climate you're in, when I was living in Arizona, I found it so hard to stay hydrated because of the dry climate. And now that I'm living in a more temperate climate, there's more moisture in the air and everything, it's a lot easier to stay hydrated. But now I'm finding that when I exercise, I get so salty, and I don't eat salt. I mean, there's sodium in some of the foods that I consume, but I don't eat anything that contains salt. I don't like salt. It makes me feel even more dehydrated. So I just find that ironic now. Every time I do any even kind of light exercise, I can taste the salt on my face. And so that's telling me that because I'm hydrated now, my body can get rid of this excess salt, so I can start shedding excess water retention from previous salt eating, pregnancy, whatever. But I think it's really cool. It kind of works the same way. If you don't eat enough calories, your body starts to store fat from the food that you're eating, regardless of what the food is, whether it's carbs, fats, or proteins. Your body will store if you're not eating enough of those foods over time. And it's the same with water. Your body will hold on to salt to make it easier to hold on to water. And then once you get hydrated consistently, it'll start shedding the extra salt that it was using to hold on to the water. It's really cool, just like how once your body gets used to consuming enough carbohydrates, it'll start shedding the fat and not storing carbs as fat, as long as you're eating a low enough percentage of fat and protein and a high enough percentage of carbohydrates and enough carbohydrates. I recommend 2,500 calorie minimum for active women and a 2,000 calorie minimum for sedentary people, but even those figures aren't enough. Like I said, I average like 4,000 calories a day, probably more than that some days, and I have to eat that much in order to feel the way that I do and get through life, so that's that on that. And look how beautiful this place is. Oh, lakes over there. Yeah, see you later.